Hey everyone, Hassan here. You are listening to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode number 116 entitled E3 Approaches. Today is June 10th, 2015. E3 is next week, so we have a lot to talk about. And to discuss it all with me, we have Steve.
Hey everyone.
We have Greg.
Hi guys.
And Barry.
Hey guys.
So, E3 is next week. I cannot believe it. It's finally here. Really exciting. There's a lot, that's coming up. Nintendo's definitely coming back, with a bang with E3. There's going to be a lot going on. But we actually have a couple things to talk about first before we get into our E3 discussion. So we'll be giving you our E3 predictions a little bit later on in the episode. But first things first, we actually have some discussion on the Nintendo Direct Micro that happened recently, as well as the Splatoon game that also recently released for Wii U. So there's a whole lot to talk about. But Steve, I think there's another giveaway that we have as well, right? So do you have some details on that?
Yeah, I do. So a lot of you guys probably remember from last podcast I talked about the Decal Girl giveaway, and it's taken some time to get that all together. So expect my actual written review. I might be doing just a video review of that, but anyhow, expect that really soon. But I wanted to show you them and then tell you about some giveaways and a promo code that they've given us. So hold on one second. There they are. All right, so here's the ones that we have from Decal Girl that they've given to us to kind of just check out and everything. So this one is just a wood grain decal for the new 3DS. So probably not one I would pick myself, but there's some really cool designs. But this one, maybe not the one. I'll show you one, and just the one I got for Wii U that's really cool. But it covers your entire new 3DS. I got another one for the original 3DS. Again, not one that I would pick. It's got like a coyote. I don't even know what is that wolf howling at the moon. I guess some people would really like that. But anyhow, they're high quality. They're just not what I would want. I do, however, really like this one for the Wii U, and it's stuck on the plastic. Hold on one second. Oh, come on. And it is, yeah, there you go. It makes sure Wii U looks like an old school NES, which is pretty sweet. So I'll be attaching this to my Wii U pretty soon, and taking some pictures and video just to see what it looks like and everything. But really, it is all the decals are really high quality. And if you haven't checked out Decal Girl's website, make sure you do that. You can check out my full review of those decals really soon. But we are going to have a giveaway for any decal kit up to a $25 value. So make sure you do stay tuned. Attached to the bottom of my review, when I make that live, I'm going to tell you the details on how you can actually win one. But for anybody that wants 15% off for the next 3 months, Decal Girl is going to give you 15% off any purchase on their site if you use the promo code NintendoFuse15. That's NINTENDOFUSE 15. You can get 15% off for the next 3 months of anything you purchase on Decal Girl. So we definitely want to thank Decal Girl for doing that. And stay tuned for my review.
Nice, that's awesome. So yeah, NintendoFuse 15, use that promo code, take advantage while you can. All right, so on to the game discussion, and the first thing that we are going to be talking about is Splatoon. So I know we've talked about that, in previous episodes, but now the game is out. It's out. We've been playing it. This is it, and yeah, I'll get started briefly on some of my thoughts on the game. I'm loving it. I'm thinking it's so much fun, It's the online play has been so great. I've had very minimal issues. Every now and then you get some sort of connection error or something, but usually it's pretty quick to jump into a game. A lot of fun to play online, and there's just yeah, oh my goodness, it's just I love how they have a steady stream of new content too to keep you going. Which actually, speaking of which, we're recording this live now, but in less than an hour, there's a new map that's going to be added to Splatoon. So it's like every week or two, there's just new content being added, and it just makes it so much fun to keep checking it back and playing. And the single player is actually pretty cool too. I've had a good time with what I've played so far of that. What about you guys, Steve? Do you have any thoughts on Splatoon?
Yeah, I mean, so you guys can check out my full review to get like a lot of my thoughts. There's so much, and even as I was writing it and I was having these guys, some of these guys read over before I posted it, and there's just so much I didn't get to cover in the actual review. So, and that's probably the biggest thing that I was surprised with is how much content there really was in the game. Even though it felt like a lot of parts of the game were not finished yet. And I don't mean like it wasn't like polished, because it's very much polished, but there was only a handful of multiplayer stages in the beginning, and only a handful of weapons. But they keep adding to it over time, and so like I think we'll eventually get to the point where it feels like a really solid, you get a ton of good content for $60. But even though certain aspects were missing, the amount of different types of games you could play, modes and stuff like that, really were quite a bit. I was amazed with that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's kind of general impressions. I like you, Hassan. I've really enjoyed the game. I've not played much of the single player since I got done with my review copy, because the saves that I had from the review copy didn't transfer over to my final copy. So I've only really went back into I think the first couple levels of single player so far, and just because I really wanted to get up to level 10 again in the final copy, and so I've been doing that and playing online most of the time. I'll eventually go back to single player, but it's kind of nice to know that if there's a quality single player that I can go back to when I finally do feel like I've played enough online for a while.
Right, right. What about you, Greg? What are your thoughts on Splatoon?
Well, I'm sad to report that I only played it once so far since the game came out. It's just been really insanely busy, and I got a review game in the midst of it, so I've been playing that, unfortunately, a little bit more because I need to write the review for that one, unfortunately. But I guess not really unfortunate. It's fun to review games. But from what I played, it was just the online multiplayer, and I was just basically just trying to level up because obviously everything was locked, so you have to get money so you can buy more equipment, you can buy new weapons. So I spent quite a time playing multiplayer that entire portion I did. I think I'm only like level 7, so I'm getting close to being level 10 to see the ranked battles. But overall, it's pretty much not like the global test fire. It just seems all a lot of fun, and obviously still getting used to the motion controls, which I might be thinking about turning off. And now that I finally have the roller again, I can start playing that next time I load up the game. I did get the zapper thing. I had a lot of fun using the zapper. I thought that was a pretty nice throwback item to the NES days. Um, it's just hard to kill people with that weapon. I think a lot of people are saying, because obviously you get like the fast weapon rate and like the distance, but it doesn't have the strength to really take down your opponents. And then usually as soon as you hit them, they're like, oh, there's an enemy there, and then they fly right back at you, and then you're toast.
Right.
But overall, it's a fun game, and I look forward to playing it a lot more.
Cool. What about you, Barry?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to play it the initial days, but when I did jump into multiplayer, I played with several friends. I played with a couple of you guys, and I've really had a blast with it, more than I expected. And I think the thing that surprised me the most is that I didn't miss voice chat as much as I thought I would. It would certainly help. It would make things easier, but at the same time, uh, I can kind of see where it's not necessarily needed, although I do miss it. As for the single player, I loved the single player. I went through and beat it, and I had a great time. I thought that the levels were designed well enough, although it seemed kind of weird that like each level sort of introduced a new mechanic, like the sponges or invisible platforms, and they were only really put back to use on the final boss. Like I kind of wanted to see more levels that threw all of this in at once, and I felt they dropped the ball there. But I have been doing the amiibos too. I was a little disappointed that the amiibos were just the single player levels again with restricted weapons. But I had fun doing it, especially like beating the final boss with the roller, which I didn't think could be possible, but it definitely made that fight more frantic. I was a little disappointed that the amiibo weapons were just the base weapon with a different skin, but the armor is cool. And I like that there's at least amiibo support, and it's utilized pretty well. And the extra games are fun too. I just got to do ranked battles. I just hit rank 11, and it's kind of weird. I'm kind of tossed. Like ranked battles certainly are fun, and they're certainly challenging, and they're definitely different than Turf Wars. And I kind of like it better. I think the only negative is that if you lose, you don't get any points just for your regular level, not your rank level. And I kind of wish they give you that a little bit, especially if you were like top in kills, but your team just sucked. But overall, I think it's a phenomenal game, and I'm having a blast. And I can't wait for new content like the level tonight.
Yeah. Definitely. And then speaking of the amiibo, for those that are watching the stream, so we are, by the way, doing this live on TalkShoe, but then also a live video stream on Google Hangouts, so you can actually see what we're talking about. Here are the Splatoon amiibo. You got the Inkling, the boy and girl Inkling right here, and then you have the squid as well. So you can either get the 3-pack with all three, or just the boy and girl separately, or rumor has it that the squid will be sold separately, eventually. But for now, the only way to get them, at least in the U.S., is in the 3-pack. So that is that. And I've not gotten a chance to use them yet, but I think the amiibo look pretty cool for the game, definitely. And yeah, actually, like what Barry was saying with the voice chat piece. Yeah, I actually don't miss voice chat for the most part, but I feel like the only time where I would really want it is in August when they add the mode where you do like you can team up as like 4 of your friends and then kind of like go together as a team. I think that mode specifically would be great for voice chat, but just the general battles that you just do, the general turf wars, I actually don't mind voice chat, and I feel like sometimes if there even was voice chat, I would even just have it turned off, even just because I don't know, I don't see the same appeal there, but at least with friends, I think it would be useful to have.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think that other one, when they add it, if they don't have voice chat, that would be helpful, because if you're purposely getting together with this set of friends and you're going in there and playing, you want to probably develop some sort of strategy. Otherwise, your strategy is so quick. They're 3-minute matches, at least during the turf wars, and it's so quick, and you do kind of see where everybody else is going on the gamepad. So I kind of understand that. Honestly, I think I wrote this in my review too. The times that I wish I did have voice chat was just to yell at my teammates for doing stupid stuff. I'm like, what in the world are you thinking? Get out of my way! Why are you going over there? Wait. Like, that's what I just want to yell at random people online for doing stupid stuff, because you get a lot of that. That's what I mostly want voice chat.
That's probably why there's no voice chat.
To yell at them. Probably too. Yeah, I'd make some like 7-year-old cry. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. But at the same time, I'd probably have some other 7-year-old like cursing at me because I'm making stupid mistakes. So.
Yeah. And they'd be cursing about your mom and how they were with her last night and everything like that.
Right. Like my mom's dead.
So, yeah, I think so far it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to play more of it, and definitely there's more content on the way for sure. I actually got the Splatoon game guide, not because I really even needed any strategy, but just because it was cool to look through and see all the different weapons and just have something there to kind of check out, which I thought was pretty cool, and I like the artwork too for the little guide. So, but just looking through here, I mean, there's already multiple maps and weapons that are still going to be coming out eventually. So, lots of stuff on the way. I do want to give a quick shout out to a couple of people that are in the chat. So shout out to Mike, fellow staff member for NintendoFuse, for joining us, and shout out to DJ Burgess on the Google Hangout as well. So if anybody is watching, if you post your comments live during the podcast, then we will talk about them on the show as well. So if you guys have Splatoon, let us know what you think. How are you guys liking Splatoon? And we will definitely set up some times to play online with you all too, for sure. That'll be a lot of fun, especially in August. We'll have to set up like a Nintendo Fuse team and take on all of you. So it's going down. It's gonna be fun. All right.
I think
So,
that's probably the only other thing that I'd say is kind of a downside when you do want to go online is you can only pick like one player to play with. So like you kind of have to work it out ahead of time. You're like, okay, this is the one player we're all going to click on and join their game, because if you're joining each other's game, you not necessarily get in the same one. But if we'll all say, okay, we're going to join Hassan's game. Everybody click Hassan. That's the that's the friend you're going to join. That kind of works out. Someone else, I was listening to some podcast or discussion or something like that, saying people were like complaining, and it was like some big site too. It was funny, but they were saying something like, what is this, like 2004? You have to call your friend to tell him you're going to play, and that's when you join online. Like, how else are you going to do it? Like, you can, like, unless you like tell your, like, what, like, I don't understand. Like, how else would you, like, you're just going to, like, telepathically gonna, like, my friend knows I'm jumping on Splatoon right now. What do they expect? I'm like, so I don't really quite understand it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So like, hey, text my friend or whatever, saying, we get on like Slack and say, hey, we're gonna play right now. It seemed like that big a deal to me.
Right, exactly.
And just like I had listened to a discussion too, and then the way they were talking about, like, oh, you just use like Skype or something to talk instead of having a voice chat feature. So I'm like, that sounds kind of inconvenient, and again, like, obviously all to be in the same game too to really appreciate that, having to use something else for voice chat. But I mean, I don't really terribly mind. I mean, I had Call of Duty for Wii U, and I don't even think I had the voice chat thing even on. I didn't really care to listen to it.
Yeah.
It might not even been supported for Wii U, but I don't know.
One of the things before we did move on, Hudson, I wanted to just say, for anybody that had paid attention, I actually did say in my review that I was going to give it a review score like last Monday, and that didn't happen because I wanted to make sure that I got a little bit more time with it. And before I actually issued a score, I wanted to ask you guys what your time online has been, because that's the big thing that I wanted to assess before we gave it a final score, was like how have you been in your connection, like any server issues? I know that weren't that one global test fire, there was a big server issue for like an hour. But have you had any issues at all? Anybody? Like I haven't really at all. Like spotty here once in a while, but that's just like a normal thing.
I think I disconnected once out of like got hundreds of matches.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not much. I mean, for the most part, sometimes the online's a little too good because I jump on, I'm like, all right, I can just go do something real quick. Oh, actually, what? The game's starting. Like, it just starts like right away as soon as you kind of jump in. So it's actually quick to get into games. It's very few issues, if any. So yeah.
Cool.
And the first day that I was playing, I was trying to join Jumping Giraffe, a former NintendoFuse staff member, and it seemed like every time I clicked on his game, I would get like disconnected or have a connection error. So I don't know if it was like something with the people he was playing or whatever, but I mean, then I joined other people that were on the forums, like Noah, PP, and stuff, and Zelda Boy, and then I joined right away, and then I had a blast. I mean, they were really good. They were already at level 15 or 16 when I had joined them that day, so. I've obviously been playing the game quite a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, he's in Canada too, isn't he? So it's Canada's fault. Just blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Sorry to all the Canadians that are listening. I apologize. I didn't say that.
Yeah, I haven't had really any lag at all either. Like, I mean, occasionally. Actually, when the lag kicks in, it's the only times that I've ever been kicked out of the match and dropped the match is when I start seeing, oh, hey, the paint that I'm splattering out there is not actually landing where I sprayed it, and then like 10 seconds later, it'd be like, oh, disconnection.
Oh yeah.
But that's really only happened like 3 times, and I am level like 11, I think, almost 11. already. So I mean, that's a lot of matches. That's only happened, I think, like 3 or 4 times.
I've seen that quite a lot, and I'd never even get disconnected. Like, I'd be playing, I'd be shooting, and like, am I not shooting ink? I would like check, and like, it let me go submerge, but like, look at my screen, I don't even see any ink in front of me, and then all of a sudden it just like blinks, and I see like, the whole, like, covered like every square inch of the area, and I'm like, it didn't really look like I was even firing at anything, because the ink was not hitting the ground or something.
Yeah, that's a little weird, but I mean, I think for the most part, the online play has been pretty good. Um, yeah, so hopefully it keeps up as more and more people get the game and they add more and more maps and other things as well. But yeah, so if anybody, Splatoon in about a half an hour from now, there's a new map. So if you have Splatoon, go check it out, and yeah, should be fun.
I will be there. I mean, after we get in here, but I will be there.
All right, so next thing now to discuss is the Nintendo Direct Micro. So this one kind of came out of nowhere. They did like a Japan-only Direct, and then I guess we got the US version of it in a way in this Nintendo Direct Micro. Wasn't expecting anything before E3, but then we ended up getting this kind of right before E3. Excuse me. And so there's a bunch of different like game announcements and things like that. So I'm just going to kind of run through this list, and then we can all kind of discuss what pieces of it, intrigue each of us, essentially. So Chibi Robo Ziplash, a new Chibi Robo game, is coming to the 3DS in October. It's a platformer game, and there is a retail bundle with a Chibi Robo amiibo. Dr. Mario Miracle Curse is coming to the 3DS on June 11th, so that's a new game.
Tomorrow?
Oh yeah, that is tomorrow. That is true. Cool. There's a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game. There's Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon coming this winter for 3DS. Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games is coming to Wii U and 3DS. Art Academy Home Studio for Wii U finally has a release date, June 25th. We got a new trailer for Project Treasure. Little Battlers Experience, LBX for 3DS is coming August 21st. There's some new DLC that was released for Puzzle and Dragon Z. And the sequel to Bravely Default, Bravely Second End Layer, is coming in 2016. There was a couple other things like some Splatoon stuff, which, I mean, we kind of, that already happened, kind of already covered, things like that. But for the most part, those were really the main announcements. So what were the things that intrigued you all? Start with you, Steve.
I really like the Chibi Robo amiibo. I don't know if I'm going to like the game, but I like the amiibo, and I hope that I can get them separate, because I don't really want to buy just the game, because it's just I'm probably not going to play it. Not that I'm against it. I think it's actually kind of interesting, because I've never jumped on any other Chibi Robo game, because I just wasn't intrigued by it, but I kind of like the platformer aspect of this one, the side-scrolling, which I'm assuming I like it because I'm not a Chibi Robo fan. I think probably people that were fans is kind of like, I don't like the departure from the original games, but that's my type of game, as I mentioned earlier. But I think the amiibo is really cool. I say I'm not. I've said this before, actually. I'm not a Dr. Mario fan, but this new one looks pretty cool. I like the new mechanic that they have, and it seems like it might make it a little easier for players that like me, who are not very good at it. I think that the new mechanic might make it add enough to it to kind of bring me in a little more. So while I'm never going to be like fantastic at Dr. Mario, this one actually looks pretty cool, and I like how they brought in Dr. Luigi, and they have the old games in it as well, kind of like this package content of several different versions of Dr. Mario and the new mechanic. I think that's pretty cool. I like the Art Academy announcement only because I love seeing what people create. I am not going to get it myself because I'm an awful artist. No matter how much Nintendo says that I can learn how to draw through Art Academy, they have no idea. But I do enjoy seeing other people's drawings. Those things are amazing, what they're already creating on Miiverse. I can't wait to see what people create this new one. And I think the only other one that really kind of stood out to me was the Project Treasure stuff. But I mean, we still don't know hardly anything about it, so I'm intrigued. But I mean, I'm still waiting to hear more about it, and it's going to be a while, I think, before we really know a whole lot about it. But it was enough to kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's interesting. Yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts. The other stuff, not that exciting to me. I know Bravely Second is going to be huge for a lot of people. As I mentioned earlier, I just don't have time for RPGs anymore. I'm sure it's a fantastic and amazing game, as Barry is probably going to tell you in just a second. I just don't have the time.
Right. What about you, Greg?
I actually really enjoyed my hours into it and beat it fully and absolutely love the first one. So I'm definitely excited to see the second one is coming. Just obviously sad to see it's next year. That's obviously to coincide with when Fire Emblem comes out, but that's not what was part of this direct though. So I won't get into that. Um, I kind of agreed with Steve with the Chibi Robo stuff. I wasn't really a fan of the series, but seeing it as like a platformer and potential amiibo thing, I might actually consider picking it up and trying it out. Um, wouldn't be mine to try it. I mean, I've been playing a lot of platformers right now for the eShop, so what's another one, right? The Dr. Mario stuff, I can understand why Steve's not so good at it. That's why he's not in Nintendo Championships right now. So um, overall, I'm not a huge fan of the series, but I do have like Dr. Luigi and Dr. Mario, the original games, and I don't know, I might pick it up for 3DS depending on the price point. If it's going to be like a $15 game, I would pass, but if it was something that's on the lower end, I would probably get it. Some of the other stuff didn't really quite interest. Actually, just about the rest of it didn't really interest me that much. I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, so I wouldn't be interested in the Mystery Dungeon, the Art Academy, and again, I'm not an artist, but again, like Steve, it would be really cool to see everyone's creations. Project Treasure is still really early to know really what's going on, and the little battlers experience doesn't really seem to interest me much either. So that just about wraps it up there.
I do want to say real quick, I forgot about this, the Olympic Games. I am on the fence actually about this game, and I forgot about it because they introduced soccer and volleyball, and those are really fun. And I love when Mario does their versions. Like I was a huge Strikers fan, and like to kind of get that taste of it on Wii U, I'm like, ooh, maybe I don't know if I want to buy the entire game just for like to play Strikers and to play volleyball, but it almost has gotten me. So we'll see.
Gotcha. So what about you, Barry?
Well, Steve hit the nail on the head. When I saw Bravely Second coming over here, I was screaming finally and just praying that maybe Nintendo will be nice and bring over Dragon Quest 7 and 8 too, since Square Enix doesn't want to translate those bastards. But no, Bravely Second, one of my most anticipated games. You can read my review on NintendoFuse or watch it. I absolutely loved the first one. In fact, I think I was the reason Greg went back and finished the first one because he almost gave up, and I was like, no, you got to keep going, But no, it's a great game, and if you haven't played Bravely Default, play it. That's your homework assignment. Even if you don't have time like Steve, you must play that. As for the others, I saw the Chibi Robo amiibo the day before from the Japanese, and I said to my wife the second I saw it, I said, I'm importing that thing if it does not come to America. I must have that in my amiibo collection, and she wanted to get a second one because it's so freaking adorable. So, my surprise, it's bundled with the game. The game looks amazing. I'm a Chibi Robo fan. I have the GameCube and the DS one. It's a departure. I know some people are upset about that, but I've been a fan of Kirby since the beginning, and he's departed his platforming route so many times. I welcome a change as long as we're getting another Chibi Robo game. Hey, look, they're remembering these franchises that don't get a lot of love. So I'm really happy to see that. Project Treasure looks interesting. I know some people were upset about the graphics, but it's an early build. I mean, people are too picky. But I think it's a really fun premise there, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. Dr. Mario, I'm not terribly a big fan of, personally. But when they started announcing it, I actually got a little excited. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll pick this one up. And then I saw it was digital, and I said, screw you, Nintendo, you don't want my money. So I will be passing on that Dr. Mario because there's no physical release, and that's the truth. The Olympics, I can take it or leave it. I have the other Olympic games. I just never got around to playing them. Maybe this one will change my mind because I like volleyball, but I guess we'll see. And Pokemon, I haven't played any of the mystery dungeons. I wanted to play the mystery dungeons. I have all the mystery dungeons, but I've yet to play them. However, this one has every Pokemon, so I actually might decide to break my tradition here and actually play this one. It looks really good. Don't know if I'll have the time for it totally, but I'm thinking about giving it a shot. But no, overall, I was pretty happy with the Direct, and I kind of wanted more. I really wanted to see Dragon Quest VII or Fire Emblem information thrown in there, but Bravely Second for me I'm happy enough.
Right. And I'm sure with E3 coming up, they're kind of saving some stuff for that as well. But speaking of the Mystery Dungeon, like there's all these different kinds of Pokemon spin-offs. Mystery Dungeon, in my opinion, is the best spin-off, especially the DS games. Those games, like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers, there's Time, Darkness, Sky, all the different versions of it. That's like one of my favorite games, and that story in that game is actually really good. Like I was like crying from that story. I did not expect that at all, but like I loved that story so much, and it was a lot of fun to play. And then the recent Mystery Dungeon games kind of had like barely any story, and they were not very fun. But I'm curious about this one. I have hopes that they'll kind of have a decent story for this one too, and also make it pretty enjoyable. But they're actually pretty fun, the gameplay for the Mystery Dungeon game. So I'm actually really excited about Super Mystery Dungeon. So I'll probably end up getting that. Like I guess everybody else, it seems like Dr. Mario is not like a big thing that I'm interested in. So I'll probably end up passing on the on Miracle Curse tomorrow. Chippy Robo is another one that like I've never really played any of the Chippy Robo games, not for any particular reason. I just haven't, I guess. But this one has an amiibo, so I'll end up picking it up, and then I guess I'll give this one a try, and we'll see how this one is. But for the most part, the rest of the stuff, it's just things that I guess I'll be passing on. I'm kind of like Steve when it comes to the RPGs. I just don't have the time. Sorry, Greg and Barry. I can't do RPGs. It's rare for me to be able to get through those. But yeah, I mean, still lots of different stuff, and there's something in here for everybody. I think that at least is something kind of interesting. So yeah. That is the Nintendo.
My time with RPGs is kind of like a big novel. Like I can usually try to get through like maybe one a year, and so I might try to pick one RPG that I try to get through a year, or maybe every other year if I kind of feel ambitious. I'll do every year, but like every other year I'll try to really tackle one, and that's kind of the idea. And so there's so many others that I want to play that I probably would kind of put Bravely Second to the back. And I would play
Steve
before I would play Bravely Second.
Steve, there's an easy solution for this. Here's what you do. Starting tomorrow, you pick up Bravely Default and play through Bravely Default, because it's summertime, right? So then you finish it before the summer's over. Come, autumn, winter, we should get Xenoblade Chronicles X. So then you can play that masterpiece. Going into 2016, when Bravely Second comes out, and oh look, now you can play it because you finished the first one. Hey, there's a solution.
If only my summer was not so busy. And if I didn't want to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, like that is probably going to be the next one that I play actually, because it looks so amazing. I want to jump into it, even though I know that I don't have like 500 hours to really dive into it. But I'm going to try anyhow.
Everyone must.
All right, so yeah, there's stuff coming out for everybody. I'm sure we'll hear more about a lot of these games at E3 as well. So speaking of E3, let's talk about what's happening at E3, and there's a lot happening. So E3 kind of kicks off this Sunday. There's actually going to be a bit of a Smash Brothers presentation from Masahiro Sakurai, director of Smash Brothers. So it's happening this Sunday, June 14th at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time. We don't know what he's going to be talking about. However, we know that at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 20 minutes after the presentation, Lucas is going to be released as DLC, playable character. The Splatoon costumes for Mii's are going to be released, and the Miiverse stage as DLC as well. So you can only assume they're going to be talking about those things, but it seems weird to only hold a presentation just for those. So we'll see what else happens. But then later that day, the Nintendo World Championships are going to take place. They're going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the live stream for them. The Best Buy tournaments for them already happened, and so they'll have the winners of those plus various like speedrunners and other people they kind of already announced some of the other competitors that will be a part of it as well. And Splatoon's going to be one of the games they're going to be playing, things like that. Then, of course, the big digital event is on Tuesday, June 16th at 12 noon Eastern. So there's that. Throughout the whole thing, for a couple different days at E3, Treehouse Live is coming back. So lots of live streams from that. And then kind of your E3 outside of E3 at Best Buy stores. They're going to have Mario Maker to play and try out on Wednesday, June 17th from 4 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, June 20th from 12 to 5 p.m. So lots of stuff going on at E3. And yeah, any just general thoughts on all their plans at E3?
I think it's interesting that they're doing this separate Smash Brothers announcement thing before E3, especially because it seems like they've pretty much already told us what he's going to announce. Like, they're going to show off, the Miiverse stage and show Lucas off and these Splatoon costumes, and it's at an odd time. It seems like it's kind of just a weird time. It's like 10:40 Eastern time, like 10:40. Like that's really weird. Maybe there's some significance to that time that I have no idea about. That's just, I don't know. It just kind of seems odd that they've, because people are kind of making this big deal about it. But I'm like, they kind of seem like they've told us all they're gonna say. I mean, usually, yes, Sakurai does throw in something special, but I mean, how much extra could he throw in special because the E3 presentation, the actual Nintendo Direct or E3, whatever they're gonna call it, is just 2 days later, and so they probably wouldn't announce anything huge 2 days before their like big announcements. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect on that day, and it's on a Sunday morning, which is completely unusual for what they usually do as well. So yeah, I think the rest of the stuff is cool. It's gonna be fun to watch the championships and everything. Hopefully they record them all and we can watch them later because I'll be busy that day with some other events, and so I'll be able to watch them live. But I'll try to check them out later. The Treehouse events and all that stuff. I'll be checking out Mario Maker on one of those 2 days. Definitely try to make it to a local Best Buy. As long as they have it at one of my local Best Buys, then I will definitely try to get over there and get my hands on that too.
Right. What about you, Greg?
Well, I actually kind of disagree with Steve. I think that we're going to be hearing some stuff about Smash Brothers that's upcoming. They haven't really talked about this tournament mode that they announced at the 50 Extravaganza effect thing they did last year.
Yeah, they better talk about
perhaps
that.
He might be. So maybe they might be able to give like a timeline saying like, oh, it's coming in the fall or coming winter or something like that. I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, it's coming out after the announcement. I don't think he would say it's joining the Miiverse stage and Lucas and everything. But I can see some like timelines of those other features that they had touched on during the 50 Fact Extravaganza. I think it's mostly the tournament mode and the online tournament mode. Don't know if there's a whole lot else, but I think maybe he might even throw in the next character that's coming as DLC. might even grow in like 2 perhaps. But obviously those will be like time boxed for like August and I don't know, like November or something, because he seems like to release one every like couple of months. So I think we are going to see some big news. I don't think they're going to use their main direct presentation to really use Smash Brothers. I think they're going to try to use that as primary for new game announcements or updates on games that are coming out that they were talking about last year, like Mario Maker and Star Fox and stuff like that. But,
Right.
Right. I guess let me clarify what I was saying, because I didn't think they were going to announce any brand new stuff, because I think that they would save that, like games and stuff, for Tuesday. But yeah, I can't think of anything really huge that I would be blown away with about Smash Brothers, like any announcement. Yeah, they should talk about the tournament mode. I want them to, but it's not going to blow me away, I don't think, unless they have something hidden that I'm like not expecting it at all. I don't expect to be. I just don't expect to be blown away by some huge announcement, I guess, on Sunday morning.
I am not expecting to be blown away, but I'm almost, I guess, sort of expecting the next DLC announcement. I have some thoughts on who it might be, but I'll save that for our predictions later. But
I wonder if Greg and I are on the same page with that, because I think I have a similar prediction. So we'll see. We'll see what you predict in a little bit.
yeah, but the Sunday morning time is really goofy. That's like, I don't know, that seems really odd, but
Yeah.
you would think to be like 9:30 or like 10 o'clock, but like 9:40. Well, I guess 9:40 for me, 10:40 for you guys. But it's just kind of weird how they put it right in the middle like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll try and watch the championships if I can. Not quite sure time-wise. See how it works out. I know I did watch like the Smash Brothers tournament last year, but time was a lot more easier on my hands. So definitely looking forward to E3. It's probably gonna be an awesome show, and I took Monday and Tuesday off to kind of make sure to keep up with everything that's going on. So it should be a fun 4-day weekend for me.
Nice. That's awesome. What about you, Barry?
I am, as always, super hyped for E3. It's my favorite time of year, I think, of everything. Like, screw Christmas time. This is my Christmas time. Just days of amazing gaming announcements. And this Smash Direct came out of nowhere and actually pushed plans aside. I was supposed to go in the morning to see Jurassic World with my wife. Now it's like I told her, I'm like, honey, we got to change our tickets. Like, I'm not missing this. Like, I'll wait to download Lucas and Miiverse, but I'm not missing this Direct. My guess is that this was actually part of Nintendo's Direct, and they realized they had so much stuff that they had to cut it out, which is where we got that mini Direct. They probably put some of that stuff there, and then this is probably like, let's just take all the Smash Brothers and do a little separate. As for contents, I mean, I'm guessing they'll probably announce something like, what the standings are for the ballot, that's going on, like who's in the lead and where the votes seem to be going or something along those lines. I do not think it's only going to be the 3 things we know that are coming. If you remember when they showed Mewtwo's announcement, Lucas comes out of nowhere, and they've did that before where they announced, Charizard, and then they had Greninja in there, and they've done multiple character announcements. Robin with Captain Falcon and Lucina were all in the same trailer, so I can see them doing, like, here's Lucas's big trailer or something, and another character comes out, or 2, or 3, or however many they want to do. But I definitely see more stuff coming from it. The World Championships, I will be watching that. I did enjoy the Smash Brothers tournament last year, and I will most likely enjoy the World Championships this year. I didn't get a chance to go compete. I wanted to. I know I said I was going to, but Long Island City is about an hour and a half away, and I just couldn't get away that day with everything going on. And I also heard from somebody who went that it was pretty crappy over there. Like other Best Buys gave people multiple tries. If you failed, you can keep going back and try again. And this one was like one and done, so it was pretty crappy. But overall, the presentation, I'm going to be there Tuesday morning like all of us. And I loved Treehouse Live last year. It got me introduced to games like Fantasy Life, Splatoon, and on Xenoblade, more Xenoblade stuff, and because of that, I actually went out and bought Fantasy Life, and I loved it. So I'm very excited to see what they do this time. But yeah, it's the highlight of my life, pretty much. like this week is like, oh, I love it. And of course, I don't get a rest because next Friday, Final Fantasy XIV Heaven's Word comes out. So my time goes from E3 to MMO, and my life is just busy when I get to the game.
Nice, yeah. E3 time is definitely always very, very exciting for sure. I do want to give a shout out to Roth, who just joined TalkShoe as well. So shout out to him. Yeah, I'm kind of going to echo a lot of what many of you said. I'm excited about the Smash Bros. Presentation. I do think they're going to be making some announcements. I'll talk about my prediction later. But World Championships, I'll definitely try and watch for sure. Unfortunately, this year there were times in the past where I was able to take off, or I had time in between classes, things like that. Now that I'm just working full time, no school and stuff, I'm not going to be able to watch like the digital event, things like that live. So I'll just have to watch it right after work, quickly before we do the podcast and everything. But yeah, I'm excited about it though for sure. There's always going to be a lot of fun announcements and so many things to kind of watch and enjoy. So it'll be cool. So with that, let's jump into... Actually, first, before we get to our E3 predictions, I did want to mention one thing because it kind of leaked out recently, so I feel like we should just mention that since we know it'll be coming. Hyrule Warriors is coming to the 3DS. So, yeah, that came out of nowhere. They're going to be somewhat porting it, I think, from Wii U to 3DS, but there's some new things there. Some new characters is Tetra, I think, as playable, and then there's another character who I don't know.
The King of Red Lions.
What is it?
The King of Red Lions.
King of
From
Red
Wind Waker.
Lions.
There we go. Gotcha. Yeah, I have not played Wind Waker. Don't hate me, but yeah. So that's coming with new characters. It looks like from the box art that it's for all 3DSs, not just new 3DS, and it doesn't look like there's any amiibo support. This is just going off the box art that was seen briefly in the trailer, but maybe that could be wrong. But it seemed like that trailer was just posted a little too early, so I'm sure we'll hear about it at the digital event, but definitely a very interesting decision. Was anybody expecting Hyrule Warriors? Was that one of your predictions? Anyone?
Nope, definitely didn't.
No, but I'm happy about it.
No. It's a good game. It's a really fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. I need to go back and play more of it. Yeah, it's cool. It'd be cool to have it on the go. I didn't realize that it wasn't. I just expected it to be new 3DS only, and to have amiibo support. That's kind of odd that they would. I think it's cool that they can pull it off on all 3DSs, but I just assumed that they could only do it on the new one, and to pull out amiibo support would be weird. So I hope that that's just maybe an early box thing that doesn't have the little amiibo sticker on there, because it is kind of cool to be able to have that extra stuff. It's not needed. It's definitely not needed to have the amiibo support in it, but it is kind of cool to get some extra stuff from it in the Wii U version.
Well, if they were smart, they would make a Hyrule Warriors amiibo line, and they would do it with this release, because I would buy the hell out of that, and I know many, many, many people would buy the hell out of that.
It's true. They can't keep the Smash Brothers ones up. I don't know how they do another entire Zelda line, and then all the Dynasty Warrior characters too. That'd be like overwhelming, all the places they can't keep up already. Man, people would be so upset.
Right.
Well, I guess Link would just be dual purpose. Smash Brothers Link, because he's everywhere.
Right.
But
yeah.
Before our podcasting predictions, I was actually thinking there was probably be some sort of Zelda game on the 3DS, but obviously that already took out that one, so I had to scrap that one. But I definitely was not even thinking it would be Hyrule Warriors. I was just thinking it would like something even like Twilight Princess or something like that, or a remake of Zelda 2 or something like that. But definitely was not picking Hyrule Warriors to be moving over to 3DS.
Especially because
I don't know if I would pick What were you gonna say, Barry?
I was gonna say, especially because we just got Majora's Mask 3D in February, so it's like, we just got a 3DS Zelda game.
I guess I was almost thinking more of like even like a newer game, like whether it's like a sequel to like Wind Waker or something, but or Phantom Hourglass or something.
Yeah.
Kind of like somewhat old but somewhat new.
Yeah, that's, it was a very interesting decision. But it makes me almost wonder if they're saving something like that for the next handheld or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah.
I was feeling that because like Anuma was all apologetic about missing the Wii U release date of the Zelda game this year, so I figured they would have some sort of Zelda thing to tide people over to again, because like Wind Waker was like the first, like Wind Waker HD, and then Link Between Worlds, and then Majora's Mask 3D, and so it's like needs to have some more Zelda games coming out to keep the franchise running.
Yeah, maybe this was supposed to be that thing, but then it kind of got leaked. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I guess that it would have been a nice little random surprise, but I'm sure they have more surprises. Awaiting us too. So it'll be interesting to see what else they have in store for us. So that's one of the things that we know is coming. But then what else could be coming? Well, I guess it's time for our E3 predictions. So we do this every year, and let's see. So what we're gonna do?
Sort of like theme song, like a jingle to like start this sort of thing. I don't know.
We are predicting stuff for E3. We are, I don't even know, trying to come up with something.
Remember when we used to like have the older podcast episodes, we used to like sing songs or hum songs or something like that at the beginning.
Oh yeah, we used to like hum like the Zelda music or something. I remember that. I apologize to the listeners for that. That's probably why we didn't do it after that.
Take it away, Steve.
So it's time for E3 predictions. We decided we're each just going to predict 3 things, and we're just going to take turns one by one. We'll just kind of go around and make our predictions. So this is predictions in general for Nintendo at E3. So it doesn't specifically have to be the digital event. It could be at the Smash Bros. Thing. It could be at some other time they just announced something, but just Nintendo at E3 in general. So I'll just kick things off here. And my first prediction is that we're going to have a new Mario Sports title for Wii U, because we have not had a Mario Sports game for Wii U yet, and I feel it's time, and I personally really want another Strikers game because I love that game. I don't know if it's going to be a soccer game or not. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I think it's time for us to get a Mario Sports title for Wii U. So that is.
I think it's a safe prediction. You're not jumping out there. I think it's a safe prediction. I also would love to have a Strikers game myself, especially in HD. I love Strikers Charge so much playing online. But I don't know if they would jump into soccer because they just announced it into the new Olympics game. So, but yeah, I don't know what they would do, what exact sport they would pick. But my opinion, I think it's a safe prediction, but I'm not sure what sport.
Right. Yeah, we will have to wait and see.
Well, that's a good segue into mine, because I also was feeling a Mario Sports game, but I went a different direction. I said it's going to be baseball. I love the GameCube one. I really dislike the motion controls on Wii, so I'm hoping it comes back on Wii U with standardized controls.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Baseball, probably.
I never played the Mario baseball games.
The GameCube one is awesome. That's your homework assignment as well as Bravely Default. You can finish it.
I'm probably more apt to pull off the GameCube version of Mario Baseball than I am Bravely Default.
What?
Might take a little less of my time.
What if they do something like they did with Square Enix and do a Mario Sports Mix for Wii U?
Oh yeah, that is true.
A lot
Yeah,
of people
that
forgot that
was
game
what I was
existed.
thinking when I said Mario Sports. I didn't want to be specific. I was just saying, a Mario Sports mix, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. What could be cool is actually if they did some sort of combination, like just take the old games because they weren't bad. They didn't like the motion control and the Wii version of baseball, but like yeah, just mix them together. So bring strikers, just put it in HD along with Mario Baseball, Sluggers or whatever else they call it, and one or two other games, and
How about
yeah,
tennis golf?
make it
Yeah,
the
there you
new
go.
Mario Sports Mix.
Wii
Our
Sports Mario
tennis,
Edition. Wait, what?
golf.
Bye.
Nice.
Okay, so it looks like Greg and I have a similar, prediction there. Some sort of the sports game versus baseball. So what about you guys? What is one of your predictions?
Barry, does it, do either any of your yours fit in nicely with that before I jump in?
No, I don't have anything about Mario Sports.
Okay. I have something involving Mario. So there's my
That's better than I do.
I think that they're gonna announce a Mario game. No, I'm just kidding. That's really too easy.
What?
I think they Nintendo and Mario. What? I think we're gonna see a little bit of their mobile strategy, and I think Nintendo is going to start off strong. We're actually gonna see what they're going to announce because we've been told that we're going to announce at least they're going to release at least one mobile game this year, and I think the first one is going to be some sort of Mario runner game, like an endless runner. I don't know if it's going to be straight on sort of thing like the Temple runner games, or if it's going to be side to side side scrolling runner. But I think that's going to be a Mario runner game. It's going to be their first mobile game, and they're going to announce it at E3.
I
Pretty interesting that you were saying that because I didn't think they were going to be doing any mobile stuff, and I also thought I had heard somewhere that they're also not going to be doing any Mario platform games outside of like the Mario Maker. But that is pretty interesting that you're thinking along those lines.
Jumping out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could see them doing that kind of a game for mobile. I could see that. I just don't, because I think they had said they're not going to do mobile stuff at E3, so that's why I don't know that we'll see it at E3, but maybe. But I could definitely see them doing that as a mobile game. So we'll see. We shall see.
I want to comment on that. Still not going mobile in my head.
Barry's like, no, just don't even say the word. Stop it.
No.
I'm not saying I encourage them. I'm just saying I think it's going to happen.
Don't listen to Steve, everybody. He has not played Bravely Default. He just doesn't count.
All right, well, Barry. So what's your prediction then? What do you think is going to happen?
All right. So my first prediction, I think Nintendo is going to bank on their library of franchises this E3. In addition to pushing out games like Star Fox U, Mario Maker, and Chibi Robo Ziplash, I think they're going to be bringing out Animal Crossing U this holiday with the launch of Animal Crossing Happy Home Design on the 3DS. Animal Crossing U, I think, will keep ideas like being the mayor from New Leaf, but add new things such as constant online experience, allowing you to visit other people at random or your friends or people with like interests. They'll take the city aspect from City Folk, but expand upon it and make it more like a living, breathing world. And of course, it wouldn't be Nintendo if it didn't work with the Animal Crossing amiibo cards and possibly Villager or amiibo or other amiibos for different houses or different home items or different costumes like shirts and stuff for the Mabel sisters. That's my prediction.
Yeah, well, you took one of my predictions too, so I agree with you on that. I think Animal Crossing Wii U is on the way. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely going to be some sort of
copy her.
Is what?
I think it was safe to say you were copying mine and Barry's one.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely see some connectivity with Happy Home Designer coming. I mean, Happy Home Designer just seems such a small, almost like a mini game thing, you know. And they also did that whole Wii U. What was that thing for Animal? The Plaza. Is that still even going on, or is that shut down yet?
No, they canceled it. Shut down.
Shut down, right? So I mean, after that, it was kind of like you could tell they were working on the Wii U models for all these characters and everything. I mean, it's something that has to be coming. There was some comments recently in an interview, I think, where they were kind of like saying, that it might be coming soon. So I mean, Animal Crossing Wii U, I think, is on the way, and I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to that for sure. So, um, yeah, so that's one of my predictions as well. Anybody else predict Animal Crossing? You said, Greg, did you say you had a similar prediction or?
No, I was just kind of mucking you for
Oh.
you were already on versions were on other lists. So
And I think one of your other predictions,
back.
Greg, might be one of my last ones, so that might be true.
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Greg. I guess what's another one of your predictions then?
All right. Well, should I just jump into that one, or should
Go
I save
for
that
it.
one to the end?
Give it for that one.
I'm thinking we're gonna get like a nice random character in the Smash Brothers Direct. It's not gonna be like the ones that have been kind of leaked, like Ryu or like um those other ones. I was kind of thinking that there seems to be a lot of support for Captain K. Rool, and I think they would really drop a groundbreaker and say like he's got so many votes already. I think the fans want him, and kind of show like a preview trailer for him that will be coming out in like October or something. But so I was thinking that was a pretty good safe, well, not really a safe pick, but that he'd be one of the characters. I mean, I also think they were going to really do cover Roy and Ryu, but I think they would really drop a bombshell like a brand new character that wasn't in the previous games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, there'll be some sort of new characters, so that's a interesting prediction for sure. Um, did you say that you think they're going to announce it at that little presentation, the Smash Bros. Presentation?
Yeah, those full Smash Brothers thing.
Yeah.
I think it'll like end with like a trailer for like a new character that hasn't been in previous games.
Gotcha.
And I gave my opinion who I thought it might be.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be vague.
Well, we'll see. We'll see who they announce. Steve, what's your second prediction?
So I got to say I got disconnected with the call real quick. Was there anything I missed between Hassan's and Greg's, where I like say something you've already said again?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think both Barry and I said Animal Crossing Wii U, and then Greg had his prediction of King K. Rool.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna jump out and make a lot of people happy if I could actually make this happen. But I think there's some writing in the sand, and I think it's gonna happen. I think they're actually going to finally release Mother 3 on Virtual Console. I think because of how they announced. The only reason I'm really thinking this is because of how they announced Lucas's release for DLC on Smash Brothers. They specifically said from Mother 3, and like, why would they announce that? It's like they could just say, like returning character Lucas or something. But they specifically mentioned Mother 3, and I was like, maybe they're actually going to finally make it happen. And they've done that before. Like when they finally brought Earthbound, that was a pretty big thing. Or like, man, a lot of people were excited. Maybe this time they're actually going to bring Mother 3 to Virtual Console, and I think a lot of people will be extremely excited. And it could get a lot of people to actually buy a Wii U specifically for Mother 3. That sounds weird to buy, an entire brand new console, to just play a Virtual Console game, but it could get at least, some, consoles, off the store shelves. So that's my prediction. Mother 3 on Virtual Console, maybe even maybe Sunday, I don't know. Or at E3, they could just say, it's available right away. Go download it.
I didn't predict that, Steve, and while I think that is a good prediction, it seems like that's something that they could have done already since it's more the easier path. What I would rather see them do is release Earthbound Collection with 0 Earthbound again with Mother 3, all in a physical package for collectors as well as digital download, because we didn't get the first game either. So this way we get 2 brand new Mother games, and I think that will make a ton of people happy.
It would be exciting. I don't want to jump way out there and predict it. I think, yeah, it would make a lot of people really happy. I'm thinking, they get one game. One game would be good. But yes, the collection would be even better.
Yeah. I saw some people that kind of had similar predictions online about that, because it seemed like there was a lot of hints towards it. But me, almost being like the cynical person that I am with this, it was kind of like it's almost too perfect for Nintendo to do it, and then they're just gonna like disappoint us again about it. So I was like, who knows? But if there was ever a time to make that announcement, I mean, I think all the cards are in play. It's definitely a possibility, I guess. We'll have to see if it happens. Yeah. So there's that. So that leaves us all with our last round of predictions. But first, before we get into that,
I didn't do my second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I only did one.
Oh yeah, you had Animal Crossing. Right? Okay, yeah. Sorry. What's
You
your
see
second
this?
prediction?
You listeners, I want you all to hear this. I want you to hear, like, Hassan is just like black sheep to me because I chose Animal Crossing U as my first prediction. He's just like,
Well, everybody was predicting the same thing, so I was like, okay, I thought like Barry also predicted something else, and somebody else predicted. I'm getting it all mixed up.
no, I did something. All the rest of mine, I think, are different. I hope. But here's my second. Continuing with the theme of banking on their franchises, I think we're going to see GameCube remakes using the Wind Waker HD engine, because that was designed to remake GameCube games, and they are going to announce Super Mario Sunshine, F-Zero GX, and Eternal Darkness, all 3 getting remakes, but they're going to top that off by announcing that Eternal Darkness 2 is in early stages and will be either they're going to announce it as a Wii U title, but it could turn out to be an NX title or an NX and Wii U title, since they just did re-register that domain name.
Okay. I definitely see some of that happening. I don't know if all of that will happen specifically, but it's all possible. I mean, I think Super Mario Sunshine, especially after like Splatoon and everything, and just just that concept of spraying water and ink and all that stuff, I guess. But I definitely could see that happening, and I hope it does, because Super Mario Sunshine I never did play. So if they release it on Wii U, then I can finally play it. So Barry's like, "Who are you anymore?"
Barry's so happy tonight.
You have a new homework assignment, Hassan. First, you skip over me.
Bravely Default. I have Bravely Second. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem, every Fire Emblem.
You're out of school now, right? You got more time.
That's great. I actually, one of my predictions was that they were going to release GameCube games on Virtual Console for Wii U, and I took it off because after a while I was like, you know what, maybe they're not. Maybe they might do remakes instead of just Virtual Console, because they did see some success with Wind Waker already. I think it'd be cool to have those. I don't know if all of them I would rush out to do. I would like to see them add new components to it, especially if it's an F-Zero game. I want to see online play in addition to just putting it in HD. I want to see some new components with it, but I wouldn't be opposed to those some great GameCube games that do deserve some recognition, because Wii U is kind of like the GameCube, but neither of them really sold that well, and so it would be kind of cool to see them.
Well, when they made Wind Waker HD, they stated the engine to make the game was designed to port and redo GameCube games, but they've only used it for the one game, so they've got to be doing something. It's been, 2 years since Wind Waker came out?
Yeah, definitely, that's true. So I'm excited to see what other GameCube games they potentially release. That'll be interesting. I want to take a moment to jump in the chat and see what some other people are predicting before we get to our final predictions here. So Roth is saying he expected a Hyrule Warriors sequel for E3, but not a 3DS port of the first game. He wants to see a new Mario RPG, or maybe have a Mario Sports RPG. He says a Wii U Animal Crossing is expected, and it's time we see some new Star Fox as well. He really hopes that Mother 3 prediction happens as well, and a new Eternal Darkness would be great, he says. Jumping over to the YouTube chat, Chargers fan for life. Shout out to him for joining as well. And he says he would buy all of those HD remixes. He loved all those games. Mike says he'd buy an HD collection of Luigi's Mansions. So that would be interesting. In fact, actually, now that you say that, there was talk about people saying, like, what if they made a new Luigi's Mansion game or something like that? But I mean, they could always do an HD remake of Luigi's Mansion as well. So that is another possibility. So
even if they put like both the games together, the that one and the 3DS game together, and made it in a package deal with an HD remake of both of them together.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
Definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I want to talk about the Eternal Darkness thing just for a bit, because I am a huge fan of Eternal Darkness. But here's the deal: like the development team, or the skeleton crew, or whatever of the original development team, has failed in putting together something. The spiritual sequel and all that stuff a couple times, and so. Yeah, Nintendo was only the publisher before, right? So, like, do you think they would renew this trademark and actually, develop them themselves, or would they grab that team and say, you know what, I know your Kickstarter failed, but we're going to, pay for it. We're going to make it happen. How do you guys see this actually coming together? Because while I would love it to happen, fantastic game. Like, I don't know how it actually would happen. So, what do you guys think?
Well,
it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dennis Dyack seems to have. There's a lot of problems with his studio, and while a lot of us would love Shadows of the Eternals, which is I think what it's called, to come out because we, Eternal Darkness fans, I think the problem lies in him. I mean, the studio left Nintendo after doing Eternal Darkness and Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, did 2 Human on the Xbox, or 360, I'm sorry, which was abysmal. And then did X-Men Dimensions, which was abysmal, and then they just went downhill. So I think Nintendo, who owns the rights, would either use an in-house team and say play the first game, let's take some elements, let's add new elements, and maybe put it out there to the original team. Hey, does anybody want to come over and join that team? They've got a lot of talent at Nintendo, and if any development company can pull it off, it's Nintendo. Especially with how passionate the fans are for that game, and there's so many people who have never played that. So I think with the energy of like an HD remake, especially with I'm not a huge horror fan, but that game was just amazing. And now with like Resident Evil going way off the track, and Silent Hills, that whole drama with that game canceling, I think now would be like, hey, look, can't depend on Capcom, you can't depend on Konami. Guess who you can depend on? Nintendo is here to save the day.
It's true. What if they gave it to Retro?
They could have been giving it to Retro this whole time. We don't know what they've been working on. They could pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, being developed by a different team. But yeah, like I said before, I hope it happens. I just don't know how exactly it would happen, because since Nintendo was kind of just the publisher before. But it'd be cool if they really stepped it up and said, hey, this is going to be a good, a big seller. I would love to even see it, if they did bring a new version out to like do some sort of like co-op online thing, kind of like Project Treasure. Do some of that sort of thing online. It'd be kind of really cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And I guess with Retro, we know that, they were kind of teasing it too on Twitter. Like, they kind of tweeted out the link to Nintendo's E3 stuff. So, it seems like they're going to be there. It seems like we're finally going to find out, what they've been working on. So, who knows? That is definitely something to look forward to. So I guess let's kind of get to our final predictions then for E3. I'll just kind of jump right in because mine was kind of similar to what Greg said. So I've had similar predictions to Greg and Barry. So I think that they're going to be announcing another Smash Bros. DLC character at that presentation. Although I actually think it's going to be from that week. I think it's going to be Ryu from Street Fighter. At least, they may also throw in Roy or somebody else as well, but I think that somebody like Ryu, because I think that leak, personally, I believe that it's legit, and that kind of a thing with the third-party character, I feel like they would reveal at an event like E3. So I think that they could do that, and it's right before like the Nintendo World Championships, which is like a big tournament thing, and so I think that. Since Ryu is kind of with Street Fighter, it's all about like big tournaments and stuff. I think that the whole tournament mode is going to be released alongside Ryu as well, and they'll kind of tie that all together in a way. So yeah, we shall see. That's my prediction for the Smash Bros. Presentation.
See, there's one thing about that Ryu thing that kind of bothers me, or I should say two. I do think he fits. But the two things that bother me, one is that Capcom has a representative already with Mega Man. And the second thing is Sony just announced last year that they're working with Capcom to develop Street Fighter V as exclusive to Sony's platforms. And it's kind of weird, like, here's Ryu on Nintendo, but then there's that. But Capcom does like to stiff Nintendo with the Mega Man Legacy Collection not coming to Wii U, even though we had Mega Man and Smash Brothers and gave him love.
So it's like tradition.
Yeah, fuck Nintendo. That's your tradition. Thanks for the up, Nintendo. Now we're going to screw you over. What? You wanted Resident Evil Revelations 2? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So, who knows? We'll see. We'll see if it happens or not. But yeah, so that's mine. So, Steve, what is your final E3 prediction?
So, I think this is kind of a hopeful prediction, but I think Nintendo is finally going to see the writing on the wall and the writing in their face and the writing online and us talking and everybody else, and they have probably already, so they can actually announce it. They've struck some sort of big third-party deal with a big third-party game. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily exclusive. I think it'd be really cool if it was exclusive, but some sort of a big third-party. I don't know if it's with who it's even with. But my prediction, I think, something big that they're going to say, hey, look, we do have third-party games, and this is a top-tier third-party game that's coming to Wii U this year, or maybe early next year if they have to. I hope they wouldn't push it off till late next year, but at least by early 2016, there's some sort of amazing, like, oh my gosh, I never even saw that coming. Maybe it's a brand new IP, or maybe it's a franchise that's moving over to a Nintendo console that hasn't been there for a while, or something like that. But I think they've struck some sort of big third-party deal with for the Wii U.
Gotcha. Well, I think they've kind of hinted at they've hinted at like potential partnerships and certain things like that. So it's definitely could happen. Right.
I mean, there's some companies that seem more natural than others. Definitely Bandai Namco has been working alongside them for a while. With Smash Brothers and things like that. So there's some companies that do make more sense than others, but it doesn't necessarily have to be one of those. But yeah, they've had these little partnerships here and there, but I think it's time for them to strike a big one.
It's ironic, I'm going to say this again because I just ragged on them, but I really hope it's not like the Capcom 5 from the GameCube era.
I think it'd be really cool if they got picked up Rockstar Games and got Grand Theft Auto.
And the Dota 6
I'd
exclusive
love
on
to
Wii
see
U.
I'd love to see all the fanboys cry when it's only on Wii U.
I was gonna say that would break the internet right there. GTA Wii U exclusive. Boom, internet gone, broken, done. Nintendo wins everything. Not that I think that GTA on Wii U would be like the best thing ever. It would be cool, but like I think just reaction wise, I think that would be pretty crazy. Okay, so we'll see what comes of that. So what about you, Greg? What's your final E3 prediction?
Well, I had a feeling what Retro might be working on, and my thought was actually jumping into bringing back Metroid. I think it's time that we get a new entry into the series, and I think Retro has been reunited with the Prime crew, and maybe it's Prime 4, but maybe, or it could be another like different title, maybe even in that series, like in the Prime series. I think they would return to that successful franchise after all the backlash of Other M. So I would think that something along the lines of whether it's like a first-person kind of game like the Prime series, or maybe even it's return to the roots like Super Metroid. It would leave it open to a side-scroller adventure 2D.
Other
Okay.
M too.
Now,
Could you imagine the meltdowns if it was Other M2? I'm one of the few people that like probably actually enjoyed the game,
I
but
also enjoyed it, but as I
Well,
said before, I'm not a
we
huge
both
Metroid fan. So,
right. I think both of us are not big on Metroid, but so
Right.
that's probably
But that
why.
was a pretty good game.
I actually this prediction is one that like this was like if I had a fourth prediction it would be this because like I was debating if I should predict this or not. I think Retro might be coming back to Metroid. And actually, I was thinking about what if they made like a Hunters, like a Metroid Prime Hunters kind of a thing for Wii U. So something with like online play and like I don't know. I think that could be.
yeah, with like the motion controls from Splatoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, motion controls from Splatoon.
Yeah, I think after they see the success that Splatoon has with online play, I mean they better be paying attention to that and saying no, people want to do this more and more. So if it is a Prime Hunters game or something else like that, I hope that they don't ignore the fact that people are really enjoying the Splatoon online multiplayer and give us more games that do similar things like that.
I mean, I didn't really play Hunters Online a lot, but I did play that Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, like local multiplayer a lot, and I had a kick blast out of that. So if they like had a mode like that and it was online, I think that would be great. But obviously, we still need an expansive campaign because that's always one of the best part about the Metroid games about exploring that depth.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I hope we see that happen for sure. All right, Barry, what is your final E3 prediction?
All right, mine actually I had to paint a picture. Like I figured out how they're going to announce this and everything. Like
All right, everyone, close your eyes.
this is my prediction. Okay,
Let's
you
imagine
have to use your
this.
imagination. But concluding with this nostalgia trip on this E3 digital event, they would reveal that they are going to step into the ring and compete with the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus with their own VR headset. They're going to announce it for the Wii U, but it will most likely go to the NX. So what's going to happen is you'll see Reggie appear, and everything just suddenly goes dark. And suddenly, like, all these red lights start appearing around him and shine towards his face. And there on his head will be this red visor.
Virtual Boy 2, everybody.
No, I'm not talking about the Virtual Boy 2. No, on his face will be a red visor, and you could read right across it, it says Virtual Boy. And the camera will then shift to Reggie's perspective, and you'll see a 3D Mario title in virtual reality, but it's all going to be red and black. Mario just going to look at us and just going to kind of go like, and jump up and hit a question mark block, and suddenly it's full color, and you're going to see like a 3D Bomb battlefield in HD, and Mario's going to run up and just get to the top, but instead of King Bomb being there, it's going to be Iwata, and he's just going to say, please look forward to it, with the title cards of Virtual Boy and Coming Soon just appearing. That's going to happen.
I really hope that you're correct, because I want to see that happen.
If Nintendo, if they were ever to do virtual reality, I think that should be the way they announce it. However, I don't think they're going to do virtual reality. But if they were ever to do it, that would be great.
That's what's going to happen. I'm predicting it. Watch it happen.
I would think that's more for like the NX or something announcement, but we'll see.
I really do think that the Nintendo's in an interesting position here with their next consoles and everything, because like the 3DS is getting like fairly, close to the end of its product cycle probably, and they've already announced this NX thing, even though it's going to be like the third tier. Like at the same time, like will it eventually take over one of them or take over both? And yeah, like what's it gonna look like? And then you have all these other companies looking into the virtual reality stuff and the augmented reality things, and like how's it all gonna come together, and where's Nintendo gonna come in this? And then you have their quality of life stuff. It's just a really interesting place for them to be right now. And so I'm interested to see where they go next. I think it'd be cool if they did step back into virtual reality. I think because we're in a completely different world than we were in when they tried it before with the Virtual Boy. I think they can do a lot better job. They could do a lot better job. Will they? I don't know. But they could, potentially do a better job. And so, but I think it's interesting in which direction will they go, because there's so many different avenues. The world of video games is so much wider now than when they originally tried a lot of this stuff. And so, yeah, I think could they come up with some sort of system that combines them all? That'd be probably, I think, the ideal situation. But is that possible? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's something interesting to see if they end up doing that or not. I guess with NX, we'll have to, of course, wait until another point to hear more about that. But it's definitely interesting to see where they're going to go from here. I think this is going to be like the last big sort of E3 for the consoles that we have with Wii U and 3DS, because then going forward, it's going to be kind of starting the cycle again about like new system coming up, hype that up, that sort of thing. So I think this E3 is going to be like all about the games, the software, like what's coming out and stuff. But looking ahead, it'll be very interesting to see where things go from here, for sure. So so I think that kind of wraps things up. Any other last minute thoughts about E3 that you guys want to mention, or?
I have a fourth prediction.
Okay, go for it.
It's not as crazy as the others. It's actually a lot more safe, which is why it became my number fourth. And someone sort of mentioned it, but not in the way I did. What I feel is that at Nintendo World Championships in 2015, they stated that they're going to be playing 10 games. And we know that Zelda 1 is one of them, and we know that Splatoon is another one of them. So I predict what they're going to do is they're going to play 9 games, and the 10th game is just going to have like question marks. And the way they're going to reveal the 10th game is they're going to have Fred Savage come on stage, just like the Wizard, and announce a new Mario 3D platformer. And that's going to be the 10th game that they have to play, and at the same time announcing the new Mario platformer.
Barry, they should just hire you to be their like marketing person or whatever.
I'd do it.
All that. Their event coordinator.
I'd totally do it. That would be awesome. Come on. You could imagine like everyone.
Nintendo Dreamer.
Everyone would be like, "What's this 10th game?" And everyone see Fred Savage come on stage. Everyone would know where it was going, and they would just erupt in screams. Like it would just be all there. And he has to be wearing the Power Glove, like because it's so bad.
Him and Lucas both come on the stage at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
They're like, "Oh, not that Lucas. Lucas."
Not Mother 3, Lucas. We announce him later. It's 2 more days before we announce Mother 3.
Yeah, so, well, with that, E3 is coming up very soon. This Sunday, things get kicked off with the Smash Brothers little presentation and the Nintendo World Championships, and then the digital events the following Tuesday. So lots to look forward to. excuse me. So that's our E3 predictions. That's what we think's coming up, and who knows what else will happen. So we actually.
One more one?
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Well, I was really thinking with the release of Hyrule Warriors going to 3DS, I was almost thinking that with the merging of the console division, like the also merging, I was almost thinking like a Kid Icarus HD could be definitely in the cards, where they can one game from the 3DS onto the Wii U, one game from the Wii U on the 3DS.
That would be awesome. I agree.
Yeah.
And that would be the one I would pick as the ambassador.
Yeah, it'd be more playable. I did not like the controls there.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't like the controls much in Kid Icarus Uprising, so I would love to have it with the dual analog sticks. I think that would be a great choice to bring to the Wii U.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And it actually makes me wonder if because the whole new account system thing, I think is supposed to be coming like this fall or something, so maybe at E3 they might actually talk about that, or I don't know if they'll save that for later or something, but that actually, didn't even realize that, but yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So speaking of E3, I did want to say, I think what we're going to do is traditionally with the podcast, we usually have a sort of a special E3 episode very soon after E3. So what we are thinking of doing is to have an episode on that evening of the digital event, so this Tuesday, the 16th. We will confirm that, though, on social media and everything. I just want to, we'll kind of look at all our schedules and confirm that. But if not then that week sometime, or like very soon after, we're going to have an episode next week to kind of talk about E3. So that way we can just get it out right away, and we're all going to be very excited about whatever Nintendo announces. So we definitely want to share our thoughts with all of you during that time as well. So look forward to that, and yeah, that's that. Thank you all so much for joining us. To those that joined us on TalkShoe and/or the Google Hangouts, and we will see you guys next week. Enjoy E3. Yes.
Do expect, as usual, expect a lot of stuff from us on the website during that entire week on social media and everything. We're going to try to be live tweeting the events. Alex is going to be there at E3 to cover the event for us, to get some hands-on experience and maybe some interviews and stuff. So definitely, you can tune into the podcast and everything, but don't just come to the podcast. Really, go to NintendoFuse.com, go to our social media on Facebook and Twitter, and make sure you like and follow us and everything, because we're going to be sending out a ton of E3 stuff next week. But if you kind of want the summary, come to the podcast. But definitely tune in to the website for a lot more of the stuff that's going to be announced next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a very busy week.
We're not going to be able to even cover everything on the podcast. There's going to be so much. So. Go ahead, Barry.
Hopefully. I was going to say that it's going to be a very busy week, so definitely check into NintendoFuse.com and stay with social media and comment back to us. Let us know what you think, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if there's anything specific you guys want to know more about while E3 is going on, like if you hear something about a game and you're like, hey, do you know what else is going on about this game? Maybe we can ask Alex to find out something at E3, or just give us your feedback. Let us know what you want to see as well. Yeah, NintendoFuse.com. We're here for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Have a good one.
Yeah.